So those are the problems. Like we didn't go over everything, but the problems there. How do we fix it to alleviate it?
Cheers, mix, click, and code with Boozy browsing, sipping and fixing the web one cocktail at a time.
I think what most people need to realize is that most of these companies have basically GA. They have Google Analytics. They're tracking pretty much who showed up, barely, but it's not going to tell you anything about them
Right.
or about what they tried to do. I mean, you could try to guess, and some reports will allow you to guess. But you need error monitoring. Like you need some system of checking for these errors constantly because they don't. Unfortunately, on platforms, SaaS platforms, they're not consistent. Like from day to day, they do have releases of their own. So
Yeah.
there could be errors that show up and then go away that don't that you don't know about if you're not actively monitoring
Mhm.
uh, with errors. Um, you could do some session replay. So there's things like Hotjar and PostHog, which will basically allow you to, if you're not familiar with it, it it shows a user's even a mouse like how they're interacting with the site. It'll record those things. It'll give you, you can do 1% to 100% of your users depending on your traffic. So you don't have to see a million people if you're a big site, and you don't have to, but you don't miss out if you're 100 person a day site.
Right. Yeah. And I think synthetic monitoring is also something that you might not have in place. It's automated. It's running an automated test on your critical workflows. You can set it up with monitoring different monitoring tools like Pingdom. Usually, you want your Pingdom anyway because you want to make sure that your site is
Yeah,
up.
the
Because
state.
what Pingdom does is that it actually pings your site and make sure that it's up. It's like a very high level explanation of it. That's why it's Pingdom. It's like checking your site. If it's up, it's up. If it's not, let it's let you know. It actually gives you notifications so your developers or whoever can go back to see what's wrong. But yeah, they usually have a mechanism that allow you to do this automatic testing. It's part of it. So like sometimes it's like it's just checking if your site slows or some small interactions that you can check to see if the site is actually operating correctly.
Yeah.
And you can schedule this. So you do this in the off hours or like main hours so that you can actually check that it's not interrupting your user experience.
Yeah, I mean, we mentioned before, if there is an outage, that usually means there's a change, and so you should be monitoring when you're the one making the change. But as I mentioned, if you're on a SaaS platform, they are making changes also. Big changes they notify you of, but they make small changes all the time.
Yeah.
Um, that they that's just part of your service agreement.
Yeah.
You're just agreeing that you're going to have a certain amount of outage with no notification. Be nice
Yeah.
to know when that happened, especially if you're in the middle of a sale. Obviously, maybe you couldn't have planned for it, but at least you could pull it into your reporting to know that you were out for 2 minutes or 5 minutes, whatever the outage ended up being.
And sometimes it might be small updates on them, but that might be actually affecting your critical workflow.
Yeah,
So you never know that their small change can be your big change. So you want to make sure that you're monitoring so that you can be prepared to fix it right away and minimize the interruption time. And real user monitoring.
rum. That's
RUM.
what you think, right?
Okay. Here's- oh, we said this on our lunch and learn with Kinsta before, right? RUM.
Yeah, yeah. This is a little bit more technical where you're actually, so we talked about, it's similar to Hotjar, except you're not getting the kind of visual stuff usually. You're getting constant reports of your actual users because this is a thing where developers, if you've ever heard a developer say it works on my local, this is kind of that idea because no matter how much we do, local staging, like development staging, testing environments are not live environments because we don't have the live traffic. So once
Mhm.
you get real live traffic, real users going to your site and they're doing things that you don't expect them to do, but they find ways of getting to areas, right?
Right.
This is tracking all of that. So it's actually tracking your real traffic to your site and watching logging errors, logging warnings, whatever you want to put in place, it can actually do that for you.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like, think of it as like all these other environments that you have testing, UAT, or whatever. They're pretty much simulating your production live site. And as you know, simulation can only go so far. Like it's similar to, I mean, it's like very lame analogy that I use all the time in different conferences is that you don't want to trust the pilot that's only been in simulating to land your plane in a storm. So like you want the real experience. That's why you need to monitor the real site
Yeah.
on. And there are tools that does it, and it's not that crazy overhead to add them to it. It's worth it. And sometimes some basic level of those monitorings are sometimes free too, depending on which product you use.
Yeah.
So those are the main ones. I mean, like there are other things like depending on how your site is built and what you have on your site and how your workflow, like if it's complex or like put any custom interactions to the workflow, it can vary little bit. But these are very common ones that you want to at least have to avoid
Right.
losing all this blind traffic or customers or leaving without getting you any feedback.
Yeah. The only other thing we didn't really touch on is so this the only time you're going to notice that these blind kind of issues are happening, let's say, is if it if it wasn't always happening. So if if something breaks today, but you have 2 years of historical data,
Mhm.
there's probably reports that are going to flag it for you. Maybe it's going to be after the fact, but at least it'll flag it, and you could investigate at some point.
Right.
Um, but some of these are happening all the time, and they've happened since you've launched your site, if you've launched it fairly recently. So you're not going to know by general reports, even like marketing reports or traffic reports or anything like any of the sales data. It's just going to show you what's happening, or what the numbers are as far as who's checking out. It's not going to tell you exactly why they stopped,
Mhm.
or why the numbers are what they are without knowing that you have a stable platform. Because if you don't
Right.
have a stable platform, then those numbers are almost, I would consider them kind of garbage in, garbage out type thing, where there's broken pieces that should have been addressed that are so variable that they mess up everything else. So
Mhm.
all of the, oh, try to test this and change this. Well, none of that is actually effective if your site is broken.
Right. Yeah. And I think this is also one of the notes that I saw was like I thought it was very important. People really overlook is that you might have all these things set up, monitoring set up, synthetic monitoring, or RUM, and everything set up correctly. But if you don't have your team responsible for how to handle it, so
Yeah.
like who's actually responsible for the catching the bugs or customer don't report type of thing. Is it marketing team? Is it your dev team? Or do you know who's going to handle this correctly? If it comes from whatever channel that you have to have that too. Because this is like the team collaboration. And if you don't have that responsibility broken down and have a accountability on who's or knowing whose team is handling what, you also might lose all this opportunity because they're not handled correctly.
Yeah.
So you could have all this, but you also want to make sure who's actually handling it correctly. So you might consider that. If you have a bigger team that's even more broader, if you have a very, very small team, it might not be a problem yet because there might be just one team that's handling everything or the owner handling everything, but at least have that and then note that responsibility and accountability is needed.
Um,
But that's all I had for today. I mean, I don't know if I wanted to do the audit, but I think we did
yeah.
audit that represent this issue specifically so many times.
Right.
I don't know if there's a need for it. What do you think?
Yeah, I wonder if we could even pull in one of those old audits right now and just show it and then wrap up.
Um, I'll think about that because it's gonna take forever to find it.
Well, that's what AI is for.
What? Oh, right. Yeah, we'll ask Scout or whoever is in
Yep.
the room and see which one we can actually tag, or we'll just tag the episode that we talked about these.
Right.
It was very obvious. Um, but yeah. Any departing comments?
Um, I think just going back to the idea that just because you have all of what you consider all of the ways of kind of tracking. Maybe you're on a SaaS platform and they're giving you data. You have GA4, you have some analytics platform, right?
Mhm.
Those are only showing you the successes, essentially.
Mm.
They're not showing you the reason people dropped off, because you're then going to make assumptions on why they dropped off. And if your platform, kind of what I said before, if your platform isn't stable, the platform that we talk about, 3 platform, where if anything is wrong, essentially you're going to make assumptions that is not correct, because you have to start from a baseline that's solid.
Right. Yeah. And the key takeaway point I'd actually put it was it's actually nicely wrote. So I might just read it and
Yeah.
decide if I'm going to include it or not. The 96% problem isn't a customer service failure. It's a visibility failure. Your customers aren't quiet because they're happy. They're quiet because complaining is harder than leaving. So every outdoor brand that runs a support queue and an analytics dashboard and thinks they have a handle on customer experience is missing a vast silent majority of what's actually happening on your site. The fix isn't more surveys, it's better instrumentation. See what your customers see, hear what they're never tell you. I think this is like the gist of what we're trying to say. Like there are other things that you are overlooking right now and make sure that those basics are in place. If you don't want to lose, was it 5 to 10% of your revenue silently.
Yep.
Well, on that note, how are you doing?
All right.
And
What?
I'm seeing your scout constantly replying by stop multitasking.
That was only one. You were talking. You were in the middle of a whole thing. I knew what you were going to
But
say.
it's popping up and distracting me.
Does it? Oh, well. You should be ignoring all the sub channels of Scout. Those are like task level things. The individual ones are all the task stuff. You shouldn't, especially on, like I said, I was in the middle of doing client work right before this.